Hey there, it's Tosin, and this video is the second part to our previous video where we talked about automating your social media content using AI. If you haven't watched that video, please click on this link up here and also put a link below this video where you can go ahead and watch that first video before you get started on this one. Now, I'll give you a quick recap of what that video was all about. Now, I'll give you a quick recap of what that video was all about. In that video, the objective was to create social media posts from a topic in your niche. We then drill down further into that topic so that the AI can provide us with robust ideas for our content creation. We used tools like Perplexity, we used Airtable, we used make.com, we used ChatGPT, I believe we used Dalle in ChatGPT, and I believe we also used Claude AI. We then dumped all of that information that was generated again into Airtable, and we made a few tweaks to that Airtable base. The objective was also to create content for the following platforms. We're creating content for LinkedIn, for X, Facebook. But since then, I've also created, I've also included Instagram, because I've had a few people asking me about Instagram, generating Instagram posts. So I've added Instagram to the mix. So you have a more robust, and that table will be updated. Again, you can find that in the resources section below this video. Now, what's different about this particular video was that instead of sending generated content straight to those platforms without human interaction, I've put a stopgap within Airtable where all of that content is sent to Airtable ready for approval. And the way the second part works is the approval is triggered, and the second scenario is triggered by an approval status in the Airtable, and I'm going to run you through all of that today. If that's something that you're interested in watching, I am raring to go to show you exactly how you can build this for your business or for your content needs. So with that being said, let's just jump. So let's jump into this automation now. What you can see on my screen is the second part of the video I shared before. And this is where we trigger the actual posting onto social media channels. And this scenario particularly is triggered by making an update to the Airtable base. So if you go in here on the particular base, on the particular content that has been downloaded here, you just need to go into the publish status, and it's triggered by changing that status to approved. In the previous video, when all of the content was created, it was created as AI generated, but once you are happy with all the content, then you update that to approved. Now, one thing I should have said in the first video also was that when you put information out, which we will test out anyway so you can see, when you put information out and the image, for instance, is generated, it puts that image URL here. If you are not if you are not meaning to update that immediately, that image becomes redundant. So what I would advise is you open up the image and you update it, and you save the image attachment in this folder. It's been mapped to take information, to take that image specifically, so you run no risk of losing that URL or the image that you've generated once it's saved as a thumbnail within your file and is mapped to that. Now, there may be a number of reasons why you're delayed. I'm not sure why it's programmed that way, but the URL is only valid for 2 hours. So if for whatever reason your VA is not able to get to that action, update and then approving the content within that time frame, the URL is redundant. But the URL is there because that's the format that the image is downloaded into your spreadsheet. So once that's saved, all you need to do is look at it, because I mean, you want to review the image anyway. So you open it, you save it, and you upload it into your Airtable base so that it's ready for use. And like I said, the scenario is mapped as such. So that's triggered by that. And once that's triggered, it then sends that information that is on your spread table. It then sends it to each of these social media platforms. Now, once you click on this, it begins the journey of sending that information. And the reason why we have this HTTP model here is because Twitter, LinkedIn are not able to pick that image directly, especially Twitter, directly from it cannot translate it. So it needs this model to translate that information. And all we're doing is saying it needs to be picking that image from inside here. The URL that this one requires is here, is a specific URL of where it's picking that information. And then there are two modules for Twitter here. The first one is where you're picking the media. If you're creating a post with an image, you can choose to exclude this if all you're creating is a post without an image. But if you're creating a post in an image, all you need to do is go add a new module, add a module X, formerly Twitter, and you want version 5. When you select, because it's in the drop down, when you select version 5, the option you want then is upload media, and it will require that you set up your connection. Now you need your API keys, which you can find in your developer portal within Twitter X, and you just need your API key, and you key in the API key and the API secret key as well. And once you're done, the connection is established and you can save that. Once you're done with that, I'll just delete this. You then need to create another add another Twitter module, which is a create a post. And all you need to do here, if I go back, is you tell it what image you're picking, and you just want to click the HTTP get a file. It's referring to the information this has already picked. We click on OK, and this is looking at the Twitter post which we have in the Airtable base, which is where all of the information is generated, and the media ID is just coming from the previous Twitter module. And all you want to do is open that up and select your media ID. I've just done that twice just so you can see we only need one of it, and I click OK, and that's all you need to put in there. And you click OK. We don't really need to see this. Okay, well, we need that just so that we can select our media ID. We click on that, and that's for Twitter. And then the next routing is for HTTP. Again, is picking that information, and LinkedIn image post. So it's saying the file is to get a file, and the content is again coming from inside that spreadsheet. We're happy with that. We click OK. I'll move my head away. And then Facebook pages, same. This just says you want to download photo from URL. Where is the image coming from? It will be from the image attachment, and we select the URL. I'll do that again. We select the URL, which is what we want, so it's picking the right image, and the caption is the Facebook post, which we've done. We click OK. And then lastly, for Instagram, you want to make sure that when you add that module, you are selecting Instagram for business. That's number one. Number two, you make sure your Instagram account is Instagram business or a creator account, or business account or a creator account. Otherwise, you won't be able to pass any of this information. Wouldn't even be able to add the module. The last thing I'm going to mention about Instagram is that Instagram also has specific requirements for the way images are uploaded. So if you click on this to add an image, Instagram has a specific, like I said, photo requirements, the maximum size, the aspect ratio, the minimum width, maximum width. I think one thing to note here, because previously with LinkedIn, I asked us, with all the other modules, I asked us to download the attachment. Now with this one, it says that image must be hosted on a publicly accessible URL. You cannot host your images on Google Drive even if the file is shared publicly, because Instagram API is not able to download images from Google Drive. The same applies to Dropbox URLs. That would also apply to to Airtable. So in this case, we can use the actual URL that was generated. Again, depending on when we're doing it, the assumption is we want to get our posts out as soon as possible. If this is the first one we do, we can use this URL here directly from Instagram and save it. And if that fails, I'm going to have to and save it. So that means we can use that URL directly from the generated input and save it. And the reason I've got this Airtable module is this is the last leg of this process. What I'm now saying is I needed to go back into the Airtable record and update my status from approved, because now we've run everything. Once it's run everything, it's posted everything, I'm now telling it to go back into my status and change the value of the status into published, so that way we know exactly what we've done. There are no confusions as to what has been sent or what hasn't been sent, and then we click OK. One other thing to notice, LinkedIn page is not the only place you can post to. You can choose to add a LinkedIn organization, in which case you're sending to your business page, your company page. This is your personal page, and you can use either. And that's it really. So what we're going to be doing next is I'll be sharing with you a run through of everything so that you can see that it actually works, and you can see displayed on my account. So I'm going to go into the first scenario. I'll just save. Are you ready to go? I'm going to show you the two scenarios run together so you can see how all of the automation works together. Right, if you are ready, so this is it. I'm excited to see it all work as it should. So I've just put in a topic in here from my content pillars. I just do a dump of information of like topics I would like to talk about, my content pillars, and I've picked in one of the pillars into my main topic, and yep, that's there. Now what I'm going to do is go into the automation, the scenario, and I'll just move my head here so I can see what I'm doing, and just start running it. I'm just going to choose where to start, choose manually, because then it's seen it that I've updated it. Yes, and I click OK, and then I am going to click on run, and let's see what it does. So that's fast. Hopefully you can see what's happening on my screen. It's just running that data now through Perplexity AI and making sure it's generating a summary that we can use for our posts. That summary is what is then used to create our that's what is used to create our different posts for the different platforms. Now we're generating the Twitter post, it's creating the image URL, and it will then update the record here to say that it has been generated. It is taking its time. Going through the process of the Facebook post now. Right, now with this you can decide how long you want to schedule your how often you want to run this. If you post 2 to 3 times a week and this is what you depend on, then by all means please make sure that you run this and set that schedule down there to whatever your timings are, what your content calendar dictates, so you can have your content omnipresent, you're on every platform seamlessly. Now it's run this through the first scenario. We're going to go to the spreadsheet once the image is fully run, and then It's just generating an image for Instagram. Hopefully we'll like the images they've generated, and if not, what we could always do, now everything should be in the Airtable. So now everything should be in the Airtable, so we're looking at that now. If you can see, we've got our main topic, we've got a subtopic, it's giving us a specific idea. The post is here, the URL for the image is there, the Twitter post, the Twitter image, the LinkedIn post, the LinkedIn image, the Instagram post, and the Instagram, and it's also updated that, and that is what we need. So let's just for the sake of argument, let's look at what images is created for us. I'm not a fan of that. It's very clear I've said not to use that, but just for the sake of testing, because I don't like this style of images, I can go back and tell it to create a different image, or maybe I just want to use a different type of image entirely, then I can update that. And that is why I've said that I like to have the human element to it, because I don't want that being posted on my page. And it also gives you the opportunity to play around with your prompts, so until you get the right thing that you want. So for the sake of argument, let me check this and change that to approved. And hopefully that, I just need to double check something again, because I need to be telling it check what view it's got on, because that is what kickstarts everything in here. So it's looking at that view. Let's check that, make sure that it's looking at the view. So I've said it needs to be looking at the approved view. So here I need to make sure that there is a view called approved. It was generated and we made our changes. This published status was updated to approved. And so what we need to then do is come in here. Ideally what happens is it's triggered on demand. So once that API changes, but for the sake of this test, I'm just going to run this once. So I'll come here, I'll choose where to start and select it so that we can get it started manually. I'm just waiting to pick that. Click on approved, click on OK, and I will click run once. So the process starts to generate. So it's done the LinkedIn, it's done Twitter, it's done Facebook, and lastly we've got the Instagram running. And once it creates the Instagram, it then updates the post and updates the table as published. So that way there is no going back. Now let's go to each of those ones. Hopefully LinkedIn doesn't take too much time. I've had that issue for a while now. So now I'm going to refresh this. Whilst we're waiting for that, we'll go to Instagram. I'll refresh that as well. And Facebook. Hopefully we will have at least one of them up, showing you so you can see exactly that it's posted. Hopefully that's it. My internet today just seems to be playing up. Have I got any up? Any at all? Okay, so that's the post on Facebook. Let's check Instagram. And that's the post on Instagram as well. And X. Yep, we're good. And LinkedIn. So whilst we're waiting, that is how you automatically create post within, and that's LinkedIn. And that is just how it should work. You should have everything on there. And so there you have it. And again, the spreadsheet, the Airtable base is also updated, so there is no going back. Everybody in your team knows what's been done and what's pending. And also to stress, I love to have human interaction because I can determine what goes in AI is not designed. I mean, yes, there are some tools that can help you without any interaction at all, but again, AI is there to help support the work that you do within your business, so it's more effective and you can get more done, freeing you up to spend more time on what is important in your business. So if this is something you would like, I have left resources for you to apply this in your business for yourself, and hopefully this video tutorial will help you along the way. But if you would like my help with this, then please go to the link below, click on the link and book a call with me, and we can have a chat about your needs. Until I see you in the next video, stay blessed. I would also like to say, if there's anything that you would like me to record on my videos, please leave a comment below and I'll be sure to do it. One thing I also want you to remember, I know there's a lot to remember, is all of the connections we made with Airtable can also be replaced with Google Sheets. So if you would like me to see a video on that, again, leave a comment below. And this is the final bye. Until I see you in the next video. Have a good one.